Welcome to the Same Side Selling Podcast. This is episode 346. We're approaching the magical 350. If you participate in the 350th episode, you will win a deluxe oven mitt or some other meaningless prize. Why is it that subject matter experts hate being involved in the sales process? And how can we engage them? Because one of the things we know is that research shows that roughly 1 in 10 individuals in an organization has a job title associated with sales. Yet, the highest performing organizations build a culture of growth, and people who don't even have the title of sales are actively involved and engaged in the sales process. So why do we struggle to get the subject matter experts to participate in the sales process? Well, the first thing you find out when you talk to them is, look, we're trusted by our clients. And if you ask them what sales is about, they will probably share with you a history of dishonesty and manipulation that they have witnessed on their end. And so they're thinking to themselves, look, I don't want to be part of that. That's ridiculous. And after all, I'm respected and trusted in my industry. I don't want to risk my reputation by going out and selling stuff which they perceive to be dishonest. Now, why do they perceive it to be dishonest? Well, because most people in sales, their vision of the finish line is the sale. So that's their focus. Their focus is getting the deal, bringing in the revenue, and then getting paid for it. And they don't really care about the outcome. But for subject matter experts, their reputation is all about the outcome. So if they sell somebody a bill of goods, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for their reputation. It doesn't work for their credibility. It doesn't work for their future in the industry. So they just say, yep, no thanks. You guys go do your sales stuff. I'll come in and execute. Here's the real problem with that. If you were trying to set up a meeting with key people in the C-suite in a client organization, who do they want to meet with? Do they want to meet with the stereotypical salesperson, or would they rather meet with the subject matter expert who might have insights about business trends, might have insights about different areas of expertise in the industry that they themselves may not be aware of? Of course, the subject matter expert is the person the client would pay to speak with if that's what it took to tap into their expertise. And for many of my clients in the same side selling world, the top producers are people who were never in sales beforehand. So what have we found works if you want to engage the non-salesperson, if you want to engage the subject matter experts, if you want to engage the consulting professional? What do you need to deliver so that they too can become these world-class performers? Because I will tell you that it's very humbling to the people who are lifelong sellers when we take somebody who was in an operations role and a matter of 3 months later, they're the top performing seller in an organization, and the salespeople are thinking, how do they do this? Well, for starters, we want to take a modern integrity-based approach. And yes, that does describe same-side selling, but it's not the only approach out there that's integrity-based. The bottom line is you don't have to use same-side selling. You could use another approach. You don't have to use the Same-Side Selling Academy. You can use some other platform. But the bottom line is you need to teach people an approach to selling that they can get behind, that they feel is integrity-based. You need to keep it simple. If you give them a checklist of 27 different things, it's not going to happen. Fundamentally, we want to show them that we're showing up to solve, not sell. See, in any sales situation, you can only show up in one of two ways. You can either show up as someone who is there to sell something or someone who is there to solve something. You only get a seat at the table to solve something if the client has something worth solving. So initially, we need to investigate and teach them the right questions to ask to see if that client is experiencing some of the same things that you're already noticing as trends in the industry. Fundamentally, we need to have a system that is more committed to the results or outcomes than it is to the sale, because that's something that people who are coming at this from a background of operations, coming at it from the perspective of a subject matter expert, they can get behind, because now if they know they're delivering the best results for the client, well, that's totally aligned with what they do as a subject matter expert. And we need to give them a way to do this. Now, in same-side selling, we do all this through the same-side quadrant. So first, we pique their interest by talking about the issues that we're addressing. We then find out in the upper right quadrant, what's the impact of them not solving this, and how important is it? How important is this to solve compared to other things on their plate? In the lower left quadrant, we talk about the results. What are we going to measure together to know that we're successful? In the lower right quadrant, we take notes about who else is impacted. Who else do we need to include in this process to make sure that we're delivering the right results for everybody? And we're addressing the most important areas of impact to the organization. When we follow this approach, what happens quickly is the number one reps will tell me, yeah, I don't really feel like I'm selling anything. I just feel like I'm helping people. Now, isn't that ironic? The people who are selling the most don't feel like they're selling at all. They just feel like they're helping people solve problems that they couldn't solve as well for themselves. If you want to achieve remarkable growth, if you want to build a culture of growth across your organization, you need to engage non-salespeople. You need to engage subject matter experts. And if you can engage subject matter experts in your organization, what might that do to your business? Now, for the case studies that we share, these are organizations that have, in some cases, doubled, in some cases, grown 5 times or 10 times their original size over a course of a few years. And they're doing it just by engaging their non-salespeople in a modern, integrity-based approach that's simple for them to execute, that it gets followed across the board, where everybody knows the result or outcome for the client is more important than the sale. And when that happens, your subject matter experts participate in that culture of growth, your business will grow, and you'll have the benefit of more repeat and referral customers because they're getting the results they need. If there are additional topics you'd like me to address, just drop me a note to ian@ianaltman.com. Of course, if you like this episode, share it, subscribe, and let me know what other topics I can cover that would be helpful for you. And I'll see you next week on the Same Side Selling Podcast. So long.